What is up, YouTube? Jamie the Kid 00 here, coming at you guys with the deck profile I think you've all really been wanting to see from the moment this card was announced. It's going to be Mermail. I'm almost certain that of all the Breakers of Shadow decks you guys wanted me to play, it was going to be Mermail, so I figured, hey, why not? Let's get a little bit more interest going in this game. Let's play Mermail. So Thursday night, I basically went, right, I'm going to play this deck, I'm going to go to a Birmingham event, and I don't care what happens. I'm just going to build it the night before, and I'm going to play it there. So I went up to Rescue Cat Duelist's house the Friday night, finished building this deck at 11 PM, tested till 1 AM, went to bed, and then went to Birmingham, and went 5-2 with it. So I can't really complain in a meta that was full of Pendulum Performage and Cosmo and strong decks like that. I can't really complain with a 5-2 performance. So either way, this is sorry, excuse me, I think I've caught something. This is the first draft of Mermail. It's had literally no real thought go into it. So please do forgive me if it seems bad. It's probably because it is bad and it hasn't really been very thought through. But with the amount of thinking I was able to do, I'm pretty pleased with it. I do want to find a way to make it faster. Definitely want to find a way to make it faster. Want to cut down on the spell count because I honestly used to draw so many spells and hardly any monsters with this deck, even though it's a huge monster count. But those are my comments going into it. Let's begin. So to start off the list, I'm playing 2 copies of Mermail Abyssmegalo. I really want to go up to 3 of this card and possibly cut one of these. Just because Megalo is so integral in winning the game. Every time I opened him or was able to search him with the Dragoons, I would usually then proceed to win the game, or it would put me in a really strong position to win the game. And pulling one of these out of the deck with a Lind was just so painful. So I definitely think I'm going to go to 3 of this. Yeah, I'm definitely going to 3 of this. Backing him up was 3 copies of Mermail Abyssteus. Teus I really like as an asset to your rank 7 plays, but also lets you search combo pieces to push an OTK because of the fact it searches a Mermail monster. There's not much more to say about it, but at the same time, I feel that in a lot of the situations where I had a Teus, if it had been a Megalo, it would have been a lot stronger. So one of these is definitely coming out from Megalo in the very near future. So that's those. I played 3 copies of Mermail Abysslinde. This would go down to 2 easily because I play a sphere. So I'm going to be cutting this down. I wasn't a huge fan of Lind. There was part of me that even considered cutting all the spheres and all the Linds entirely, just because these were fairly slow, but at the same time they did put in a little bit of work in my slower games where I didn't have the OTK, and they gave the deck a lot more staying power, whereas if I took these out, I feel it would be OTK or bust. So the 3 Linds I kind of liked, but at the same time I think it definitely belongs at 2 in the deck. 3 copies of Mermail Abysgunde, just a massive asset to your OTKs. Resin cards. I really like this to be able to discard with like a Neptabyss in hand as well. So you could use Gun to bring back a Pike and Neptabyss to bring back Dragoons, and you could immediately seize. Gun's just really solid. Love the card to pieces. 3 copies of Abysspike, just search power, moving you through the deck. I feel like your 3s in this deck might, like, your choices aren't that varied because you don't play the Undyne. You can literally only really search Gund and Marksman. They're the only 2 good ones because you don't really want to be searching your Linds. So Pike was so-so. It's more, I'm used him more to activate stuff from my hand rather than actually searching. So maybe he could go to 2 as well, but the problem is finding out other things to put in the deck in his place, other that are also useful water assets. So Pike is Pike for the moment. And then the last Mermail monster I played was 1 copy of Mermail Abyssturge, just because of the Pike Turge plays. They're really strong. They still need to bring him out in Super. I'm kind of sad he's not Super, but maybe one day, Konami. Maybe one day. So that's the Mermail component. For the Atlanteans, I played 3 copies of the newly released Neptabyss, the Atlantean Prince. For those of you guys who don't know what this card does, he's absolutely nuts if you consider how Mermail works. His onboard effect, which is just a standard ignition effect, is that you can send 1 Atlantean monster from your deck to the graveyard, except another copy of Neptabyss, and add an Atlantean card from your deck to your hand. So he can send Dragoons to add Dragoons, which is pretty cool in and of itself. Then his other effect is if this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a water monster's effect in the same way all the other Atlanteans activate, you can then target an Atlantean in your graveyard other than Neptabyss and special summon it. That's incredible. This card just rotates Dragoons like crazy. And the fact that you can, like, normal this guy, send Dragoons, search Dragoons, the Dragoons you sent search as Megalo to your hand. If you have another water monster in your hand, you can send the Dragoons you searched and the other water monsters, special summon Megalo. Dragoons gets you a search for, like, Moulinglacia, and Megalo will get you, like, an Abyss card, and then the Megalo can tribute this off and special summon one of the Dragoons from the graveyard, and then if you have another level 4, you have an Xyz as well, and you just go off from there, and he's just a 1-card window to so many things. So Neptabyss, absolutely incredible card. I then played 2 copies of Dragoons, because why wouldn't you? The card's obscene in tandem with this guy, so Dragoons. 2 Marksmen and 2 Infantry, just for assets to blow things up. Like, I don't want to lose to traps, and I don't want to lose to other things, so just the Atlantean engine to remove things and search things. Then the only other cards I played were Deep Sea Diva, an absolutely obscenely good card in tandem with Neptabyss, because it can summon Neptabyss from the deck and turn them into a Tatsunoko. So Diva's just incredibly good. And Moulinglacia, Moulinglacia got even better in this deck, simply because if you open Neptabyss or open a Neptabyss play, you can almost always Moulinglacia your opponent turn 1. So Glacier's lovely. But that brings me to the end of the monsters. As you can see, it's an absolutely huge monster count. I don't actually know how many it was. Even when I wrote my deck list for the event I was at, I didn't actually count my monsters, so I couldn't honestly tell you what I'm at, but that's the monster count. For the spells, I played 1 Raigeki. This one's borrowed. I don't know where my super is. So 1 Raigeki, 1 Abyss-Scale of Cetus or Cetus. I don't know how to pronounce it. I am considering also playing the spell one of these, but for the moment I wanted to play the anti-trap Abyss-Scale because I really didn't want to lose to trap-based decks using this. And I feel it paid off. When I played against Tellarknight and Burning Abyss, this card was really, really powerful. And the fact that it lets your Megalo gain 800 attack and go up to 32 is ridiculous. Like, a double attacking 32 stick that searches this is really good. 1-for-1 for the Neptabyss, Salvage for Neptabyss and the Atlantean cards. This was really, really good. I'd consider going to 2, but at the same time, it's a mid-game card, not an early-game card, so... But Salvage was really good. Double Twin Twisters, you really, in my opinion, need to out any back row you see, and this also gives you a way to kill pendulum decks. It was really, really good because of the fact that you could use this, send Gund from your hand and trigger the Gund and turn off your opponent's pendulum scales if you're early game. So I really quite like Twin Twisters in that regard, and of course back row decks just lose to it, so Twin was good. Triple Instant Fusion, a card I often sided down to 2. I feel like it's really, really powerful, but again, it's mid to late game. It can have some early game applications with your Neptabyss, but I found that the Neptabyss plays were already so good on their own just by merit of Neptabyss that you don't really need to add to it. You're kind of win-mooring in those situations. Then I played 3 copies of Upstart Goblin, just because Upstart's, I needed to thin the deck, and then 2 Spheres. So that brings me to the end of the main deck. For the extra deck, we played 1 copy of the lovely Tatsunoko, little old child dragon. This card is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely love it to bits. So it just lets you make so many plays in this deck. So Tatsunoko, this extra deck is really hodgepodge, by the way. I literally had my extra deck binder on the desk next to me and went, hey, why not? Let's just throw cards into an extra deck and make an extra. 1 Armory Arm, never made this. Black Rose Dragon was surprisingly good, but I might change it for a Gungnir. Tell me your thoughts on this or Gungnir. Trishula, had opportunities to make it, but I never actually made this, so the Trishula was somewhat irrelevant, but I feel like it would have been really strong if I played more Cosmos. I played Rescue Cat Duelist round 2 of the event and lost to her, and I couldn't make this, so that's the only Cosmo player I played, which is interesting when I tested against Rescue Cat all night, and then I ended up playing it round 2, which is excellent. Leo, Keeper of the Sacred Tree, and Star Eater. These 2 are just ridiculous because of Tatsunoko. Late game, if you're already far too, like, if you're over cards and you can't use Moulin, you can just Tatsunoko the Moulin into this, and it's a 32 beer, so it's a use for the Moulinglacia, because otherwise it's sitting there dead in hand, just being a water for your Megalos. 2 Nordens, takes up space, but it's a thing, it's a really good asset. Then for the Xyzes, these could definitely use some work. Tri-Edge Levia, never made it, probably going to take it out. Abysstrite, to tandem with the Bahamut Shark. Abyss Dweller, I want to go to 2 Dweller, so I'd probably cut a Levia for the 2nd Dweller. Castel, because you need that utility removal. Big Eye and Abyss Ghost to round them off. So that brings me to the end of the extra deck. I'll show you guys my side. It was actually a 14-card side deck. I built this after testing, so I actually built this at like 2 in the morning. and I was so tired I didn't realize it was 14 cards. So this is what I played. I played the 1 Chimera Tech and 2 Cyber Dragon Cores to out Cosmo, because in all of my testing against Rescue Cat, what was I going to say now? Dark Destroyer is just too strong, so played those guys. Triple Denko Sekka, because back row decks are my enemy, so I didn't want to lose to those. I just wanted to be able to OTK through them, so Denko Sekka. Triple Max C, because I didn't want to lose the Mirror and other speedy decks, so that was a thing. Triple Magical Spring. I didn't have any good cards to side against Pendulum matchups and Pendulum Before Mage, so I sided in Magical Springs. They were kind of good against the one Pendulum Before Mage match I won. At least I think it was Pendulum. It was a Pendulum deck nonetheless. It might have been Magicians. I cannot remember. I'm so tired right now. But this was good when I used it, but I only ever saw it once in the event, which is kind of sad. And then Double Royal Decree, which I never actually saw. I sided it in, but I never actually managed to draw it or activate it. But that brings me to the end of the deck profile. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope you guys are happy to see this deck come back. I'm really quite pleased with it. I feel like Neptabyss gives it a lot of strength. I definitely do not think it's top tier by any stretch of the imagination. Please do not assume that this is a video to declare it to be. It was just a lot of fun. I really wanted to play it for an event, and I didn't have Pendulum Before Mage, so I figured, hey, why not? Let's have some fun with this. But either way, guys, I just want to round this off by saying thank you very much for watching. I'm going to keep trying to upload as soon as I get stuff. There's a guest upload from Rescue Cat Duelist, who I actually just want to give a big shout out to, because she did actually top that event. She went X1 won throughout the event with a Cosmo build that we built the night before, which is really quite good. But otherwise, yeah, guest upload with her Cosmo deck coming up real soon. And otherwise, YouTube, I hope you've enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you want to see more of the same. Comment down below with anything you want to say to me. And otherwise, I'll see you guys next time with some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Related content. Peace out. Bye-bye.